My name is Olivia, and I am 21 years old. I grew up in a quiet town where people believed my life was normal, but inside my home, things were very different. My mother passed away when I was only 6 years old, and for many years it was just me and my father. He worked hard and loved me deeply, and even though life was simple, I felt safe and happy. But when I turned 12, my father married again, hoping our family would feel complete. At first, my stepmother smiled kindly, and her daughter Emily pretended to be friendly, but slowly their true feelings appeared. My stepmother began giving me more and more work around the house, while Emily spent her days relaxing, shopping online, and talking to friends. Every morning, I woke up before sunrise to clean the kitchen, sweep the floors, cook breakfast, and prepare everything before my father left for work. When he was gone, the house became silent, except for my stepmother's voice giving me more tasks. Wash the clothes, carry groceries, water the garden, clean the rooms, iron the dresses. I worked until my hands were tired, but no one ever thanked me. Emily always wore beautiful dresses, new shoes, and shiny jewelry, while I wore the same old clothes for years. Sometimes I stood in front of the mirror and barely recognized the tired girl looking back at me. Still, I never complained because my father worked so hard, and I didn't want to make his life more difficult. One summer, our town announced a large festival with music, lights, and games where people from nearby cities would come to celebrate. My stepmother immediately became excited because she believed Emily could meet a rich young man there. She bought her a beautiful white dress and a golden necklace that sparkled in the sunlight. I quietly watched from the corner of the room and wondered what it would feel like to wear something beautiful just once. When my father heard about the festival, he smiled and said both girls should go and enjoy themselves. My heart jumped with hope, so I carefully asked my stepmother if I could have a simple new dress too. She laughed loudly and said I already had clothes and didn't need anything new. The night of the festival arrived, and Emily looked like a princess, while I wore my faded blue dress that was slightly torn at the sleeve. As we walked through the bright lights and music, I tried to stay behind so no one would notice me. But then something unexpected happened. A young man with warm eyes and a gentle smile walked toward me and said hello. His name was Lucas, and he told me he noticed me helping an elderly woman who dropped her fruit basket earlier near the market. I felt surprised because no one had ever noticed small things like that before. We talked for only a few minutes before Emily pulled me away angrily, but Lucas looked back and smiled as we left. For days after that moment, I couldn't stop thinking about how someone had finally seen me. The following week, my stepmother created a strange plan. She told Emily to wear my old dress and forced me to wear Emily's expensive one because she believed it would confuse Lucas and make him think Emily was the kind girl he liked. I felt nervous and embarrassed, but I had no choice except to follow her orders. When we returned to the festival area that evening, people began whispering about the girl in the beautiful dress, not realizing it was me. Lucas walked straight toward us, but instead of looking at the dress, he looked into my eyes and smiled the same warm smile as before. He told me he recognized my kindness instantly and asked if he could visit our home sometime to meet my family. Emily was furious, and my stepmother looked uncomfortable, but they agreed politely. A few days later, my stepmother sent me alone to the park to collect flowers for a decoration she was planning. The ground was wet from rain, and while walking across the grass, I slipped and fell badly, hurting my ankles so much I could not stand. I sat there frightened and alone until I remembered Lucas had given me his number. When I called him, he arrived within minutes and carefully helped me up, then carried me all the way home. Over the next several weeks, he visited often, bringing medicine, food, and even books to keep me company while my ankle healed. During those long conversations, we shared stories about our lives, our dreams, and the future we both hoped for. Lucas told me he admired how patient and kind I remained, despite the way people treated me. Meanwhile, my father slowly began noticing how tired I always looked and how much work I did every day. One evening, he quietly watched while I cleaned the kitchen alone, and for the first time, he realized the truth about our home. He sat beside me and said he was proud of me and sorry he had not seen everything sooner. His words filled my heart with warmth I had been missing for years. Emily and my stepmother tried to spread rumors about me in town, hoping Lucas would stop visiting, but he never believed them because he had already seen my true character. Months later, my father organized a small dinner and invited Lucas to join us. During the meal, Lucas stood up and said he wanted everyone to know that he loved me not because of how I looked, but because of the strength, kindness, and patience I showed every day. My father smiled proudly, while Emily and my stepmother sat silently. Life slowly began changing after that night. Lucas and I continued spending time together, helping each other grow stronger and happier. Eventually, he asked my father for permission to marry me, promising he would always respect and support me. My father happily agreed, and soon we planned a small wedding surrounded by the few people who truly cared about us. On the day of the wedding, I wore a simple white dress that made me feel confident and free for the first time in my life. When I looked around and saw my father smiling proudly and Lucas waiting for me with loving eyes, I realized that all the pain and patience of the past had led to this beautiful moment. Today, I live a peaceful life, filled with love and respect, and whenever I remember the difficult days of my past, I remind myself of an important truth. Kindness may seem invisible at first, but one day the right person will see it clearly, and when that moment arrives, your life can change forever.